Every species in the galaxy knew one thing. When an FTL drive begins to die, you abandon ship. Because a collapsing FTL core doesn't explode. It tears your vessel out of reality itself. Entire crews vanish. Ships become ghosts, lost forever between dimensions. Then, humanity ignored the evacuation order. The crew of the TSS Resolute had exactly 37 seconds before their FTL core collapsed. Alien rescue ships watched in horror. Then they heard the captain issue an order that would forever change engineering. Load the main cannon. The rescue fleet froze. The human ship wasn't firing at an enemy. It was firing at physics itself. 3 seconds later, the cannon discharged, and somehow, the dying FTL core stabilized. For the first time in galactic history, humanity had prevented dimensional collapse using recoil. For thousands of years, FTL core failure carried a single outcome: death. Every advanced civilization relied upon containment fields to stabilize faster than light engines. When those systems failed, reality itself began to tear apart. Ships simply disappeared. No debris, no survivors, only silence. The Galactic Engineering Manual dedicated an entire chapter to the subject. Its conclusion was simple. If an FTL core enters dimensional collapse, evacuation is mandatory. Humanity read that sentence and disagreed. The TSS Resolute was returning from the Orion frontier when disaster struck. Warning alarms echoed through every deck. Critical failure, FTL core stability, 14%. Captain Elena Hayes calmly looked at the display. Time to collapse? Chief Engineer Marcus Kane checked the readings. 37 seconds. The bridge fell silent. Outside, 3 alien rescue ships emerged from hyperspace. Their commander immediately opened communications. Human vessel, abandoned ship immediately. Captain Hayes nodded thoughtfully. Reasonable suggestion. She then turned toward her engineer. Can we save her? Marcus smiled. Probably. The alien commander nearly screamed. Probably? Marcus enlarged a holographic diagram of the FTL core. It's losing dimensional anchoring. Containment fields are gone. Only one thing can stabilize it now. Captain Hayes raised an eyebrow. The cannon? The cannon. The alien commander froze. You intend to stabilize a multidimensional engine with artillery? Marcus nodded confidently. Newton hasn't failed us yet. For the first time in galactic history, an entire rescue fleet watched in horror as humans prepared to solve a physics problem with an even bigger physics problem. The bridge of the TSS Resolute shook violently. Warning lights flashed across every console. FTL core stability, 9%. Dimensional fractures spread across the hull. Entire sections of the ship briefly disappeared, only to return moments later. The alien rescue commander stared at his display in horror. Human vessel, you have 18 seconds remaining. Captain Elena Hayes remained perfectly calm. Marcus? Chief Engineer Marcus Kane was already entering commands. Main spinal cannon charging. The alien commander couldn't believe what he was hearing. Why are you charging the weapon? Marcus looked genuinely confused. Because it's attached to the ship. And if we fire a 30,000-ton kinetic slug at relativistic speeds, Newton will kindly punch us in the opposite direction. Silence. Absolute silence. The rescue fleet's science officer slowly spoke. Are the humans attempting to anchor themselves to reality using recoil? Marcus smiled. Exactly. The science officer quietly sat down. I suddenly understand why every engineering conference fears Terrans. FTL core stability, 4%. 10 seconds, shouted the navigation officer. Captain Hayes took her seat. Target? Marcus brought up a star map. Empty space. The alien commander nearly collapsed. You're firing the most powerful cannon in the sector. At nothing? Captain Hayes smiled. No, we're firing at momentum. The massive spinal cannon illuminated the void. For one brief moment, every ship in the system became silent. Main cannon ready, kinetic slug mass, 30,000 tons. Firing in 3, 2, 1. The TSS Resolute fired. Reality itself shook, and for the first time in galactic history, a dying FTL core stopped collapsing because humanity had weaponized Newton's third law. The cannon fired. A 30,000-ton kinetic slug disappeared into the darkness, and Newton's third law punched the TSS Resolute directly in the face. The entire ship lurched backward. Crew members were thrown from their stations. Warning sirens abruptly changed tone. FTL core stability, 4%, 7%, 12%, 19%. The bridge fell silent. Chief Engineer Marcus Kane slowly looked up from his console. Oh, it worked. The alien rescue fleet couldn't believe their sensors. Dimensional fractures across the human vessel were closing. Reality itself was stabilizing. The rescue commander stared at his science officer. Explain. The officer looked absolutely horrified. They anchored the ship to normal space using momentum. That's impossible. The officer shook his head. It was impossible. Then the humans added artillery. Captain Elena Hayes calmly adjusted her seat. Status report. FTL core stability climbing. 28% and rising. The entire bridge erupted in cheers. Meanwhile, the Galactic Engineering Network had begun recording everything. Within minutes, millions of engineers across the galaxy were watching the footage live. One famous professor quietly removed his glasses. I dedicated 400 years to theoretical dimensional mechanics. The camera replayed the human solution. Big cannon, big recoil. Problem solved. The professor sighed. I hate that this makes sense. Moments later, the TSS Resolute fully stabilized. The crew had survived. The ship had survived. And humanity had accidentally rewritten another engineering textbook. The Galactic Engineering Manual immediately issued an emergency update. New safety protocol number 1. Before abandoning a vessel, ask the nearest human if they have a larger cannon available. Across the galaxy, alien engineers collectively began drinking. Within 6 hours, the footage had spread across the galaxy. Every engineering academy, every military fleet, every university, they all watched the same unbelievable recording. A human ship had prevented dimensional collapse by shooting something really, really hard. An emergency session of the Galactic Engineering Council was immediately convened. Its official title read, "Why Did That Work?" Thousands of engineers attended. Millions watched remotely. Chief Engineer Marcus Kane stood before the assembly. Behind him, a massive hologram displayed Newton's third law. One alien scientist raised 4 trembling hands. Are you telling us that your solution to multidimensional instability was equal and opposite reaction? Marcus nodded. That's about the size of it.
Another engineer stood. Our civilization mastered quantum anchoring 8,000 years ago. Marcus smiled. Very impressive. And you? We built a bigger gun. The engineer slowly sat back down. I dislike how often humans say that. Dr. Velshara, the galaxy's foremost expert on dimensional mechanics, approached the podium. I have spent 7 centuries studying FTL collapse. She pointed at the footage. How did your species even think of this? Marcus shrugged. When I was 12, my bicycle chain broke. So I hit it with a wrench. And it worked. Silence. Absolute silence. The Galactic Council's AI immediately added a new entry to its database. Human Engineering Philosophy. Step 1. Identify problem. Step 2. Apply physics. Step 3. If problem persists, increase caliber. Across the galaxy, engineering students quietly began updating their notes. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Engineering Council reluctantly published a new document. Its title was simple: The Human Engineering Handbook. The first page contained only one sentence. If reality becomes unstable, apply more reality. No one knew what it meant, not even the humans. Engineering students across the galaxy immediately purchased copies. Chapter 1. Everything is a hammer if you swing it fast enough. Chapter 2. Momentum, humanity's favorite superpower. Chapter 3. Please stop letting humans near experimental technology. By Chapter 7, the authors had simply given up. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Engineering Council reluctantly published a new document. Its title was simple: The Human Engineering Handbook. The first page contained only one sentence: If reality becomes unstable, apply more reality. No one knew what it meant, not even the humans. Engineering students across the galaxy immediately purchased copies. Chapter 1. Everything is a hammer if you swing it fast enough. Chapter 2. Momentum, humanity's favorite superpower. Chapter 3. Please stop letting humans near experimental technology. By Chapter 7, the authors had simply given up.
At the Galactic Academy of Science, Professor Velshara addressed her students. For the next semester, we will be studying Terran engineering. One student raised a hand. Professor, is it true that humans once repaired a fusion reactor with duct tape? She sighed. Unfortunately, yes. Another student looked horrified. And it worked? Professor Velshara looked toward the stars. That's the problem. It usually does.
Meanwhile, Chief Engineer Marcus Kane had become an unexpected celebrity. His lecture tour attracted billions of viewers. One alien engineer asked the question everyone wanted answered: What is the secret to Terran engineering? Marcus thought carefully, then answered honestly. Step 1, don't panic. Step 2, panic a little. Step 3, build something ridiculous. The audience immediately began writing that down. No, stop writing that down! They continued writing. Then, an emergency transmission interrupted the conference. A galactic battleship was experiencing catastrophic FTL failure. The captain's final message echoed across the chamber. Please, send help, and if possible, send a human. For the second time in history, the galaxy's greatest engineers realized they weren't calling humans because they were experts. They were calling humans because humans had a disturbing habit of making...
The distress signal echoed across known space. The galactic battleship, Vanguard of Eternity, was dying. Its FTL core had entered catastrophic collapse. Standard procedure was immediately initiated. Evacuation, prayer, acceptance. Then, someone remembered the humans. 3 minutes later, a small Terran engineering vessel arrived. Its name was painted across the hull: Terran Repair Ship. Percussive Maintenance. The alien captain stared at the translation. I'm afraid to ask.
Chief Engineer Marcus Kane stepped off the shuttle carrying an oversized wrench. Good. That means you're learning.
Marcus quickly reviewed the diagnostics.
Core instability at 6%. Containment failure. Dimensional anchoring loss. The alien crew nodded. Can you fix it? Marcus looked around the engineering bay, then asked a single question. How attached are you to that wall? Silence. What? That wall. I need to remove it. Why? To install a bigger cannon. The captain slowly closed his eyes. Of course.
Within 20 minutes, human engineers had removed half the engineering section. Nobody understood what they were building. One alien scientist finally asked, "Is that a railgun?" Marcus nodded. Emergency railgun. There's a difference? The word emergency makes it legal. The cannon fired. The ship violently recoiled. The FTL core stabilized. Every alarm immediately shut off. Silence filled the engineering bay. The Galactic AI updated its records. New regulation 447B. All major fleets must carry medical supplies, emergency rations, at least one human engineer. Across the galaxy, humanity had achieved something unprecedented. They were no longer considered personnel. They were now officially listed as emergency equipment. 6 months later, the galaxy faced an entirely new problem: insurance companies. For centuries, galactic insurance had operated under a simple principle. If a ship experienced FTL failure, it was considered a total loss. Then humans arrived, and suddenly, ships weren't staying lost. The Galactic Insurance Council held an emergency meeting. Its agenda contained only one item. Subject: human engineers. The chairman addressed the assembly. We have a problem. Human engineers have reduced catastrophic vessel losses by 87%. The room remained silent. Isn't that good? Asked one executive. No. It means we're paying significantly fewer claims. Across the galaxy, insurance companies began adapting. New policies appeared almost overnight. Standard coverage includes hull damage, reactor failure, pirate attacks, and for an additional fee, human engineering package includes one certified Terran engineer, emergency railgun installation, unlimited use of oversized wrenches, access to percussive maintenance protocols. Captain Elena Hayes couldn't stop laughing. They made us an insurance option? Marcus Kane looked offended. Option? He pointed toward the updated regulations. Warning: ships operating without human engineering coverage may experience existential difficulties. The Galactic AI had apparently developed a sense of humor. Then, an insurance representative approached Marcus. We'd like to offer you a sponsorship. For what? Our new slogan. Marcus was afraid to ask. The executive proudly displayed the advertisement. Human Engineering Insurance. Because physics is optional when humans are involved. Marcus stared at the sign for several seconds, then quietly said, I hate how accurate that is. Across the stars, humanity had achieved another impossible milestone. They had become
a tax-deductible safety feature.
10 years later, the galaxy had changed. New starships launched every day, new colonies were founded. New civilizations joined the galactic community. And every single vessel, regardless of size, purpose, or origin, included one mandatory component: a human. Ship manufacturers quietly updated their brochures. Standard features: advanced FTL drive, quantum navigation suite, autonomous repair systems, complementary human engineer. No one questioned it anymore. It was simply considered common sense. At the Orion shipyards, a young alien captain inspected his first command. Everything looks perfect. The shipbuilder nodded proudly. It is. The captain paused. What's that room? The builder looked confused. The human compartment. The what? Every vessel has one. What if I don't need a human? The shipbuilder stared at him in horror. You don't get to decide that. Meanwhile, Marcus Kane had officially retired. His oversized wrench now rested inside the Galactic Museum of Engineering. Its plaque read, "The tool that made physics negotiable." Students traveled across the galaxy to see it. Some laughed. Most cried. All were inspired. Then, on the anniversary of the TSS Resolute incident, the Galactic Council unveiled a new monument. A massive statue of a human engineer standing beside an impossibly large cannon. Beneath it, a single inscription: "When reality broke, humanity brought a bigger wrench." Captain Elena Hayes quietly smiled. Think they'll remember us? Marcus looked toward the stars. Oh, absolutely. After all, he pointed toward a departing starship. Its human engineer was already arguing with the reactor. Humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy wasn't faster ships or better weapons. It was teaching the universe a simple truth. If something is impossible, you probably haven't applied enough engineering yet.